dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got a rather lighthearted video to share with you guys. I thought we would just sit, relax, and I would read to you some things that I wrote when I was like 12, 13, 14 maybe. Back then, I lived back in a small town in the province of Newfoundland, and the year was, I think, 1995. I know it says in the beginning, so we'll get to that, but there was a workshop held at the local library, and we met either over 1 or 2 weekends, I'm not sure, and the woman who was in charge of the workshop, her name was Kathleen Winter. She's actually now a very established and celebrated author of a few books that are just fantastic. I've done some book talks on them here on this channel, but she orchestrated this workshop, and she'd give us prompts and then we'd write about them. And then once it was all done, we handmade these books, which was called the Newfoundland Cloudmaker after one of the stories in the book. And we did a reading at the library, and friends and family and community members came, and we all picked our favorite piece and we read it out loud, and then we sold copies of the books to people who came. This is actually my mom's copy. I couldn't find mine, although I know it's here somewhere, but Mom had hers, so she dropped it off for me. So on the first page here, we all signed all the copies when we were done. So cute. So it says here, the Newfoundland Cloudmaker is a compilation written and edited by the following members of the whole writer in the library workshop held at Holyrood Public Library in the winter of 1995 with writer Kathleen Winter. And then all of our names are listed. And then just says, special thanks to the Newfoundland Public Libraries Board and to the Writers Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador for organizing and funding this project. So it was just, it's one of those things that I look back on so fondly. First of all, that library itself, I loved. I used to go there multiple times a week to get books. I had a great relationship with the librarian. Her name was Diane, and I just loved her to pieces. She'd put books aside for me that she thought I would enjoy reading. I just loved being in there. And then to do this project there made it extra special. So I thought we could go through, this is probably going to be a real cringy, you guys, but she would give us prompts and then we would write about it. So the first sort of prompt that she gave us was, I thought as a child, even though we were still children at the time, but it was to look back on something that, you know, we maybe misunderstood, that now looking back we know isn't what we thought it was. And the thing that I wrote for this is called Kermit in the Cupboard, and this actually involves my my Uncle Greg, who I just adored and still do, of course, but back then especially, like, he had such a special place in my heart, and this was a thing. So you just hold on to your helmets here, guys. So again, warning, this is probably gonna be real embarrassing, all of these. I wish that I had kept other writing that I had done as a teenager, especially as I got a little older. Like 15, 16, 17, 18, but we moved around so much got lost along the way, but I'm so glad to still have this. So, Kermit in the Cupboard. This is a true story. Kermit in the Cupboard. When I was very young, my uncle used to tell me that Kermit the Frog lived in the cupboard down in his living room. He would imitate his voice so perfectly that I would be looking in the cupboard trying to find him, and I would not notice my uncle's lips moving. It was not until I got older I realized why I never found Kermit. Here it says in the cupboard down in his living room, but I also remember it upstairs in my grandmother's house in one of the spare bedrooms. There was a dresser. And on the bottom of the dresser there were cupboards that opened, and I remember it there as well. So that was the first one. The next prompt was Somewhere I Know. Let's see. Okay, this one's called A Long, Narrow Path. Up behind my house, there is a long, narrow path that leads up to the highway. There are many kinds of berries, trees, and plants. The evergreen trees bend together at the top as if making a roof to protect you from the unknown. The ground is very soft in most places, and that is somehow welcoming. There are animals up there as well. Animals such as birds, squirrels, and even the occasional rabbit. There is a big rock sitting under a maple tree shaped like a chair. It makes the woods seem more friendly and welcoming, as though it wants you to sit and enjoy all it has to offer. The next prompt was family stories. This one's called Windy Days on the Harbor. Every winter, my grandfather tells us about how when he was younger, he had no ice skates. Instead, he and his friends would go down on the frozen harbor on windy days, take off their coats and hold them over their heads to use them like sails. He says the wind would take them for miles and miles. And I can remember when my grandfather used to tell me about that. I used to be just enchanted by it. It sounded like the most fun anyone's ever had. And I thought about it so often. I still think about it. It just sounds like I can picture him. I can picture him doing that. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so the next prompt was Fantasia. So that was more for the made-up stories. Oh, I don't have one in there. Okay, Sensations was the next. The next one was called Grandmother's Perfume. And it says, I don't know what the name of the heavenly scent is, but ever since I was very small, it hasn't changed. The smell is comforting, like a warm blanket on a cold day. It makes me feel safe. I can remember about 3 years ago when I was in a hospital, the first thing I could smell when they brought me out of surgery was her perfume. I could see her long, soft-colored skirt and one of her gentle sweaters that had become a trademark. And then somehow I knew everything was going to be okay. I remember that day. I now know, looking back, that that was Chanel No. 5. That's the perfume that she was probably wearing. And yeah, I can remember that day. I had broken my arm real bad. Real bad. I was playing in the backyard with my sister, and we had been horsing around by the swing set. I had been standing on a stool, a very short stool, and I fell off it. And when I say short, like I'm talking, I fell 2 feet. Like it was not, I was not high up, but I just landed funny and I broke my arm, and it was in a U. That's how, like it was a bloop. It was awful. It was awful. And they had to do surgery. And yeah, I can remember being wheeled out of surgery and laying on the bed, and as they're wheeling me, I could just see her skirt. And I knew it was her, and I could smell her perfume. And I remember kind of like just relaxing. You know, like, she's here. Everyone's here. Everyone's fine. And there you go, you guys. Those are my contributions. Oh, no, there's one more. This was back in the section 1, I thought as a child. Oh, yes. It's called Pink Dress. I remember a big pink dress in the box full of old clothes in my kindergarten classroom. It was very beautiful, and I used to love to put it on, but a girl in my class also liked it. We fought over it until our teacher would come and make us just take turns wearing it. I can remember being very upset with the other girl, but only for a while, and then we would be friends again until the next day when it would start all over. I don't know why I had such a strong attachment to that dress. It must have been the pretty colors and the shiny beads. No doubt. No doubt. So there you go, you guys. Like I said, just a lighthearted, fun video. I don't know that anyone, aside from family, has ever read those. I don't think I've ever shared them with anybody. And it's just fun to look back. I can remember sitting in that library really feeling like something. I was doing something when I was writing those stories. Not even stories, those paragraphs. But it was fun. And just wanted to share it with you guys before, hopefully, I'll be sharing my book with you very soon. very soon. So yeah, it's better than that, I promise. Anyway, you guys, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.